up, everybody? Welcome to the POVincent podcast here on the River's Edge Online Radio Network. I am your host, Vincent Didiano, giving you my point of view on movies. And with me is the siren of the soundboard, my kick-ass co-host, Sarany Wellsby. Sarany, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, you know. Had an easy day at work, no real problems.
That's good.
Saw
a movie tonight?
I saw a movie tonight, which we will be talking about. We'll be talking about the new Will Smith movie, Gemini Man.
The twofer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Two wills for the price of one.
We are going to get into that. But yeah, no. Good day. And just give everybody a rundown of what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about the very, I don't want to say controversy because I feel like I use that word so much anymore.
There's a lot of controversy in the movie.
There is. But the legend, the icon, Martin Scorsese said something that a lot of people don't agree with. We're going to be talking about a new spin-off movie from a famous action franchise, which we've talked about on the show many times before. And yes, we will be talking about the new Will Smith movie directed by Ang Lee, Gemini Man.
Great name, though. The title, I love it.
Oh, yeah, no, the name alone kind of gets you interested in Gemini Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds very, very cool.
Even the trailer was nice. But anyway, yeah. So, let's get into things. Martin Scorsese, the iconic legend that he is, a man who's made so many damn good films, you know, Departed, fucking love that movie, has this new movie, The Irishman, coming out, which is I'm very excited for. I mean, you got Al Pacino, you got the return of Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci's been retired for a while.
Not Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Yeah, Joe Pesci is coming back for this movie. I heard they really had to push him to get him in. But hey, Martin Scorsese comes calling, you answer. Yeah. And of course, the main character will be played by Robert De Niro. So you've got some big names in this. You also got Ray Romano's going to be in the movie. I don't know how. I think he plays a bit part. And then Sebastian Maniscalco, stand-up comedian that I think is fucking hilarious. I've heard he's going to be in the film too. So I'm excited. But in his interview with Empire, he said, regarding the Marvel films, as he was asked what he thinks about these Marvel superhero films, is, I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. Now, these comments have gotten the internet into a total uproar, and not surprisingly, superhero movies are some of the biggest movies out there right now, bringing in money, bringing in, critics and audiences, going at each other on Rotten Tomatoes, which way or the other. And the Marvel films have been consistently the best ones out there. Obviously Warner Brothers with their Superman and Batman films have struggled. They seem to be finally getting back into the swing of things. With Joker just came out. Now they're just concerned about solo films instead of setting up, a Justice League or Justice League 2. They seem to be back on track. But so when you talk superhero films, you're going to talk about Marvel, and I guess that's why they brought up Scorsese. So here's what I think of this. I feel like to a degree, I understand where Scorsese's coming from. If you watch his films, you get an idea of what he thinks and what he likes about what kind of movies he likes and digs. And there's, like I said, there's a reason why 95% of the time, you'll see superhero movies get considered for the Academy Awards, with some exceptions being costume design or special effects. You don't see them get the big best actor or movie of the year, best act. So I get that the Academy usually looks for what he's talking about, these more films that are about the art of film and telling and all that kind of stuff. I get that, but we are starting to see certain movies starting to break through and take superhero movies to the next level. Not a whole lot. We've only had a few. I would say most people would probably say The Dark Knight. We one of them. Logan, definitely. It's one of the best X-Men films they did. Yeah. And then, of course, most recently, Joker, which we watched last week. Once again, we love that film. If you haven't seen it, I go recommend it. Don't let people tell you it's too violent. In my mind, there's only one scene that was radically violent.
I feel like I'm burned out from this topic already.
I know. But I know. Like I
Just
said,
don't go see it. Just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
buy a ticket to a movie
Yeah.
that you think is going to trigger you.
yeah, the only people that I'm like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, were the once again the families of the Aurora shooting victims. That's where this topic, a lot of this topic really got steam when they spoke up about it. I totally get why they would see things that way. So I'm not gonna crap on that. Other
No.
people who are just being oddly sensitive, like I don't know. I thought it was a masterful performance by Joaquin Phoenix. I thought the director did a great job. I like the cinematography. I like the colors and all that. I just good movie. Yeah,
Great movie.
Yeah. But so yeah, I think we're starting. Hopefully, with movies like that, with movies that are like doing things, even Deadpool. Not that it's like in the same vein as Joker or Logan, but it's something like, a rated R comic book film. Because before that, most studios were afraid of it. So what I'm trying to say is, I think hopefully as time goes on, more and more we will see studios, hopefully especially Disney with Marvel, try new things, try to take it in a new direction. For instance, Doctor Strange 2, that was announced a few months ago. Benedict Cumberbatch will return as Doctor Strange, and Elizabeth Olsen will be also in the movie as Scarlet Witch. They said that movie's going to be more of a horror movie than a regular superhero movie. So I'm hoping we're going to see more of that. I'm hoping we're going to see the superhero movies start to try new things.
Get scarier. I'd love to see the Marvel movie get scarier.
Well, apparently it's going to be a very psychological one.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So, but regardless, I love superhero movies. I've always loved them as a kid, and I totally blame Christopher Reeve for that. Who, as we're recording this today, is the anniversary of his passing. So, Christopher Reeve, thank you for inspiring us all. Thank you for giving me a love of superheroes. We miss you. But yeah, I've always been a fan of superheroes. I've always been a fan of science fiction, Star Trek, Star Wars, fantasy stuff. Conan the Barbarian. I'm all about that stuff. So I think the problem with Scorsese here is maybe not the problem. It's like I just don't think superheroes are his genre.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. He's entitled to his opinion. Like I said, he can have that opinion. He's a great filmmaker, but it's not his bag, and that's fine. I don't know why people are so upset about that. But to say that it's not cinema is shitty. It's a little rude. You didn't have to say that because it absolutely is cinema.
Oh, totally. And some of the Marvel people have spoken up. James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy films, he spoke up on Twitter saying, "I was outraged when people picketed The Last Temptation of Christ without seeing the film." Sticking up for Scorsese here. But then he's continued, "I'm saddened that he's now judging my films in the same way," he added. That he said, "I will always love, that said, I will always love Scorsese, be grateful for his contributions to cinema, and can't wait to see The Irishman." Samuel L. Jackson has also said some stuff, and Robert Downey Jr. in an interview on Howard Stern show. If you'd like to see a clip of Robert Downey Jr., it is posted on the Howard Stern YouTube channel. They clipped it down just because, it's a hot button topic right now, what Scorsese said. Yeah. So if it's Scorsese, if it's not your genre, man, hey, I'm fine. Hey, I can get that. And I've said this before in the show. I've reviewed horror movies on the show because if there's a horror movie coming out that week and it's like, this is the movie of the week, I'll go see it and go read it. I'm not really a big horror movie fan. I never really have been, I've never really liked being scared. There have been horror movies where I've watched and I've enjoyed them. Like I said, I like the remake of It. I even enjoyed It Chapter 2, even though it was more of a comedy than a horror film.
Yeah. I'm the resident gore whore in the house. Yeah. I'm the horror chick. Yeah. Love it.
I'll need you next time we got something coming up. But at the same time, I can still respect people who make horror films because there is skill, there is talent needed within that, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be able to set an atmosphere of creepiness or, an ease. You have to, create memorable horror movie villains. There's a reason why, people remember Freddy Krueger and Jason and Michael Myers and so many others, and you don't remember...
Icons, really.
Yeah, and the 80s was chock full of horror movies, especially slashers in particular, and not all of them are memorable. We were talking earlier. There was this one movie I saw. I didn't see it. I saw clips of it during a slasher film documentary I saw many years ago during the Halloween season. And one of the horror movies was this guy running around in a fencing outfit with a fencer's rapier and going and stabbing people. And I'm like, I've never heard of this horror movie. But that's because it wasn't memorable, you know, they didn't have a memorable villain or maybe an original plot or idea or, you know, a main character. That's another part of horror movies, you know, that main character that's trying to survive. You want to make the audience care about that person. You want the audience to care whether or not that person survives. If they don't care about the person survives, that's not a good horror movie, you know. So I can still respect people who make horror movies, even though it's not my genre. Now, I don't think Scorsese was intending to be disrespectful. I do not think that was his intention. Because things about when you're Martin, like some people say, Martin Scorsese's jealous. He's jealous of the
Martin
superhero.
Scorsese is not jealous of anybody.
Some people have been saying that, and I'm like, no, he's not. I don't think he meant to piss people off, but if people think, maybe at most I could say, perhaps he's annoyed by the overabundance of superhero films. I could see that. And, you know, he kind of was just being honest. He wasn't being mean. I know there's been a lot of people in Hollywood. I know Ethan Hawke spoke up last year saying, you know, like, superhero movies are bad for the film industry. I think Jodie Foster said similar thing like a year before that, even.
Why would Jodie Foster have, like, an opinion that anyone would listen on this topic?
Oh, Jodie Foster. I don't know.
Who was like, what's Jodie Foster think about all these superhero movies?
I don't know. It's a little. I don't know. I get it because there. You know, some people have been talking about for years about superhero fatigue settling in. It doesn't seem to have happened yet. Disney sure doesn't think it's going to happen because not only do they have 4 Marvel films coming out in 1 year coming up soon, they have 8 or 9 shows on the Disney Plus series, including Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision. They got Moon Knight, She-Hulk. They got Miss Marvel, who's not Captain Marvel, totally different character.
Little Miss Marvel.
So I can understand like Scorsese and other people in Hollywood want to see more films like the way he does them because, you know, I get it. Hollywood is pumping out too many cheesy, schlocky, but horribly thought out action films and stuff like that. They're going for the big buck and they seem to be less interested in the art of film. So I can understand the frustrations. You know, even I have that problem. You know, like after Transformers 1, you know, I really don't like any of the other Transformers movies because there's nothing new and creative. It's literally the same plot, the same structure, every film. There's a human being who gets a hold of some ancient artifact that the Autobots forgot existed or they lost a while ago. And the Decepticons are going to use that to turn on some other ancient artifact they fucking forgot about. They're just going to turn on a thing that's going to blow shit up. It's the same fucking movie. Everything's just a little bit bigger. It's just a little bit, now this time it's a cube, next time it's a pyramid. After that, it's the whole fucking planet. Oh my god. I know I'm skipping a couple, fuck it, I don't care. It's just fucking nuts. So I get it, I understand, like, you know, people want to see more films, like, or like, at least trying to, like, you know, like, movie came out earlier this year, the psychological horror film Midsummer, you know. Once again, I'm not a big fan of the scary films, but Midsummer, as crazy as it got at times, it was a fucking well-made film. That, you know, it was, you know, it's got crazy moments. I talked about it when I reviewed it. But honestly, it's like, okay, this person's not just going for your regular run-of-the-mill jump scare horror movie. This person's actually trying to make a fucking scary movie that people are going to talk about. Mm-hmm. I can respect that. You know, and I want to see that for the superhero movies. I want to see that for all movies, you know, like, and so at the end of the day, I'll say this. Don't be angry at the genre. Be angry at Hollywood. Be angry at the studio, you know. I know there's only so much actors, you know, actors have influence, or even someone like Scorsese only has so much influence. I mean, he has a lot of influence, but at the end of the day, the studio's going to do what it wants to do. So.
Do you want to make a ruling? Don't get mad at the genre.
Yes. I'm Judge Vincent, and I say the Marvel films are innocent! And I sentence Martin Scorsese to just keep making your films, bro. Just keep doing that. I'm not going to really put anything bad on you. You're fucking Martin Scorsese. Even if I fucking disagree with you, you've made some fantastic films. Once again, I am excited to see The Irishman.
Me too.
That
was a fair ruling.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
A little bit of water. It's so parched.
It's warm in here today.
A little bit warm. All right. So, okay. Moving on, yeah. So Martin, once again, I can't wait to see The Irishman. When it does come out, I will do a review. But let's talk about John Wick. John Wick Chapter 3 came out earlier this year. Did a review for it. Go check it out. Really liked it once again. These John Wick films are great. The action is always so creative. And, you know, Keanu Reeves is just nailing it. I mean, he's enjoyed such a resurgence of his career. I mean, he's back on top. You've got The Matrix 4 coming out. He's going to be in that. And yeah, no, I'm just excited. But as with many things in Hollywood now, the question was asked, hey, can we do a spin-off and make a bigger universe? And that's what's going on. According to an article on Deadline.com, Lionsgate has set Len Wiseman to direct Ballerina, an action spin-off of the lucrative John Wick franchise. Ballerina focuses on a young female assassin who seeks revenge against the people who killed her family. The picture is on a fast track with a script by Shay Hatton, I won't focus there. Shay Hatton, whose credits include the Zack Snyder-directed Army of the Dead for Netflix, which has not come out yet, and John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Keanu Reeves will be an executive producer. So I see what they're doing here. In the last film, John Wick does apparently go back to his kind of family. It's kind of at least the people who raised him. I'm not quite sure exactly what the familiar connections are with certain characters, but they are, their crime. They're a section of the crime part of New York. They're their particular mob. They run a theater and they have ballerinas. So I'm guessing this spin-off movie is going to be about one of the ballerinas. I'm sure they're not going to use any of the actresses that we actually saw in the scene. But yeah, that's what they're going for. I hope they take this movie seriously, and because sometimes these. The Hollywood will be like, oh, well, it's a spin-off of this film. Will definitely do good. People definitely love it. I'm just like, no, people love it if you do it well and you give it some time, I'm a tiny bit concerned about Len Wiseman being the director, if I'm being honest.
Why is that?
I think about it. Len Wiseman is probably most known right now. I mean, he's done some directing credits, they even listed in the article, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to see the kind of stuff, read the articles that I present on the show. Every news story we talk about and discuss the articles are posted to the POVincent Facebook and Twitter page. So he's directed Live Free or Die Hard, part of the Die Hard franchise. He's also done some directing on TV, such as Y-5O, Lucifer, Sleepy Hollow, The Gifted, and Swamp Thing. So the man's working, but what makes me a little uneasy is the fact that he is also director of the Underworld series, which after a while really lost its steam. And it's like, I understand because he was married to Kate Beckinsale. I don't think they're still together. I think they got divorced.
Yeah, she was just dating Pete Davidson.
That's right. Yeah. She was Pete Davidson's. I
know, he is killing it right now.
Yeah, because he was with Ariana Grande.
Yeah, they almost got married. Pete Davidson's slaying the pussy.
Women love funny guys who are depressed. I'm not gonna throw that out there. You guys, I need to get sadder or funnier. I can't tell. But anyway. So they were together for a while, and I think that's part of the reason why he probably kept directing the Underworld movies, because he was married to Kate Beckinsale and he wanted to do right by his wife. Mm-hmm. But those movies did lose steam after a while. Like, I still like the first one. It's a little dated. It's got some of that 90s, early 2000s, coding on it. Yeah. But I still like the first one. The second one's just really cool because they made a super werewolf and a super vampire, and that was fun. The costumes and then the special effects on it were really good. I remember in the behind the scenes dealio, they showed this one scene where most other movies they just would CGI something in. They actually had a guy on some ropes and stuff, and he just literally had the guy fly right in, and then they CGI'd the wings in later. Then they did the third one, which was a prequel, which I believe at the time did very well, but I think it had some annoying continuity errors that didn't line up. Hell, even the second one, because they delve into the origin of werewolves and vampires, I think that one has some continuity errors too. But yeah, then the fourth one happened, and they couldn't get Scott Speetzman to return to play the hybrid werewolf vampire guy, and that was a big part. That's a big part of the Underworld franchise, is the romance between Kate Beckinsale's character and Scott Speetzman's character. In the fourth one, they tried to replace that by bringing in their daughter, having an excuse that Scott Speetzman's character was frozen or something, so they tried to make up for it with a mother-daughter relationship. It really didn't work. And then I didn't even see the last one, the fifth one. I didn't bother. I don't even think they brought the daughter character back for that one. I don't remember seeing her in any of the trailers. But I think she was I forget what her name was, but she was just in some miniseries on TNT with Chris Pine. I forget what it's called. But so it's not that this guy doesn't have talent. I'm just wondering if he's still got that creative edge to him, or like, because the Underworld franchise, like, it was kind of sad. It was like, a different look at vampires. They're in the, modern day. They're not supernatural. They're these like mutations. It was interesting. Then you got the hybrid. That scene at the end where, Michael Corvin's like half werewolf, half vampire, and he's fighting against Bill Nighy's character, and he's like an elder vampire versus a hybrid. It was a cool fight scene. But yeah, so I'm just a little concerned. Plus, like I said, Hollywood has this, and I want to make this clear. There's like, this statement in Hollywood, and this reason why Wonder Woman took so long to get her own movie, that female-led action movies are not what the people want. I totally disagree. I think they do. They have no problem having a female lead in the action lead. It's just most of the time, Hollywood, you half-ass shit. Let's be honest about it. Let's go going back to the superhero genre. The original Supergirl from the late '80s. That movie sucks. It was pretty obvious that you didn't
even try.
They didn't think out the script. They didn't think out any of the dialogue. They just said like, well, it's a Superman. Well, it's set in the same universe as Superman. It's Superman's cousin. It'll work. No. And you look at even more closer films like there's that Atomic Blonde, which came out like a year and a half ago. Yeah, Charlize Theron, great actress. I totally, the movie could have been really cool, but at the same time, it just felt like bland and in certain parts. The action was pretty solid for the most part, but it's like her character was like, I'm just so cool. I'm so cool. Look at me. Look how I'm kicking ass.
Cool,
I got great hair. I got sunglasses. I'm having a lesbian scene. Don't you want to see me have a lesbian scene? I mean, yeah. But it didn't help the movie any at all. But it's just like when Atomic Blonde. I can see they tried a little harder with that one, but and then there was that another female action spy flick. It was called Anna. I think it came out a few months ago.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one either. I remember it came out and I didn't realize it had come out. It just like it came and went.
Yeah.
That was like.
I didn't know anything about it. No, not a lot of hype.
Yeah. So Hollywood, keep in mind, just because it's a spin-off doesn't mean it's automatically going to do well. Give it the time and effort. Put in the same time and effort, love, creativity that is in the John Wick franchise. Because if it's part of the John Wick universe and you want to start doing some expanding, which I'm fine with that, because each movie they unravel a new layer to the John Wick universe. That's one of the things it's one of the things I actually do like about the John Wick films. It's not just the great action sequences, which they are great. They're well choreographed, the special effects using them are solid, all that stuff. Keanu Reeves has done several, for each film, the 3 months of hand-to-hand combat training and a gun. Ladies and gentlemen, look up clips of Keanu Reeves training with guns. He actually has become quite proficient with them. He's good. He studies at this one gun range, and they've trained him very well.
Wow.
Honestly, Keanu Reeves could literally kick your fucking ass at this point. The guy, I'm just saying, Hollywood, please, if you're going to do it right. Don't just hope that the glory of the other John Wick films are going to automatically pass over it. Please.
Historically, has never happened.
Yeah. Do it right. Don't fuck things up.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. I mean, either way, we still got John Wick 4 on the way. But, if you're going to do this battle racing, do it. All right. So, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Another sip of water. All right. Let's talk about Gemini Man, the new Will Smith action film. So Will Smith starts this movie. It is directed by another big director, another Ang Lee, a man who first got big in America. General audiences with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He's also done The Life of Pi. A lot of credits to this man, very talented director. He's had his misses on the Hulk movie starring Eric Bana. Most people agree that movie was a miss because it was one of those movies where he was trying to be like what we're seeing now, like taking superhero movies to the next level, but it just didn't work. And I remember seeing it as a kid. I'm just like, this doesn't seem like a superhero movie. I want to see the Hulk do cool shit.
You were probably a really cool kid, I bet.
I had my cool moments. I would always
you were huffing and puffing about the Hulk.
Yeah. I'd have my cool moments, but sooner or later I would always lean back into that awkward, is this fucking kid all right here? What's going on? I'd have my awkward moments. I'd say some dumb shit, but we all did. But anyway, back to Gemini Man. So yeah, This movie stars Will Smith. The plot of the movie is Will Smith is the ultimate secret agent action man. He's works for the United States government. When somebody needs killed, he's the man to do it. If there's a whole group of people to take down, he takes them down. If somebody needs to make a shot that no one in the world can make that shot for a sniper rifle, Will Smith is the man that's going to make it. His character's name is Henry Brogan, and in the movie we see him get betrayed by the government, and they're trying to take him out. And while trying to survive, he discovers that the government has made a clone of him to take him out.
Shady government.
Yes, hence the name of the movie, Gemini Man. So let's get into this. So I was kind of interested to see how this movie is going to go down. The trailer, directed by Ang Lee. You got Will Smith. I like Will Smith. Ever since Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like a lot of you will grew up on it.
Yep.
You also got actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's another actress I really like. She'll, I've said it before. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Love that movie. One of my favorite movies, and she played Ramona Flowers in it. She's also going to be in the upcoming Birds of Prey film, which we've talked about previously on the show. And she was in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Oh, I forgot about that one. But no, she's a cool actress. I'm glad to see that she's starting to get a little bit more bigger roles. The movie is mostly about them too. So let's go over these characters. So let's start with what's called Will Smith #1, aka Henry. Like I said, Henry is he's a government agent. He works for the DEIA. And he's been doing missions for years. He's in his early 50s at this point, which I think that's Will Smith's actual age.
Yeah, he actually just turned 50 this year.
Okay, yeah.
I know that for a fact because he was on the Daily Show last night.
Right,
talking about it.
I think they knew that going to the film because there's a few points in the film where they point out where he says his age, but he always says it 1 year off.
Oh yeah.
A little spoiler, but so yeah, he's been part. He's been commando / secret agent type. Taken out, the government says this person is killed, he goes and kills him, grabs a sniper rifle, whatever. And he's kind of like almost like an 80s action hero in the sense like he's a one-man team.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can take him one-on-one. There's nobody, even some teams can't take him together. Like he's that damn good. He's almost superhuman. There's nobody that can take him out except for maybe his clone, who goes by the name of Junior in this film.
Love the premise.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting idea. It kind of reminds me of Star Trek, was it Nemesis? That was the one where Captain Picard finds out he has a clone. Mm-hmm. And the clone was played by a young Tom Hardy before Tom Hardy got big. Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting looking back at him. And even then, Tom Hardy was a really good actor. So. So it's Will Smith kind of looking at like this mirror reflection of himself and starts and he's haunted by his past because he's killed so many people and he's a hyper intelligent person. That's one thing about. He's super intelligent and his intelligence as great as an asset as it can be. It makes him overthink stuff and he thinks about his demons a lot. But with Junior doesn't have any of that. Junior is like he's not a direct clone. They took a sample of blood, cloned him, made a Will Smith baby, and let him grow up naturally. So that's the point of the clone, that he's got Henry's intelligence, he's got his physical abilities, he's got all that great stuff, but he doesn't have Henry's, long storied past and all the wars he's fought in. He doesn't have the mental damage that Henry's taken on. Which is supposed to
have the grit.
Yeah, which is supposed to make him superior, and plus the fact that he's younger.
Yeah.
The one problem I have with this duality here is I'm not sure how much it really makes Will Smith, his character Henry, the older Will Smith, question himself. How do I put this? It's like he meets him and he doesn't really, like if you were, encounter a clone, you would have like an existential crisis. You know what I'm saying? You start like, what makes me me? Am I me, or am I just easily copied? Was there anything unique about me? But I never really feel like the movie really delves into that. The movie just tries to relate to him and stuff, and try to make Junior see he's just a cog in a machine and he's trying to help him out. We see the cogs turning in Junior's head at one point in the film, which is nice. I don't know. I guess like a movie like this, I feel like they really didn't delve into it as much as they could. I think it's all set up there, but I really don't think they got into it.
Did you like the movie overall? Yes or no?
I'll put that down in my verdict at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's go into some of this. Now, because of this movie, it's not Will Smith and they had another actor who's like, you're supposed to believe this is young Will Smith.
Oh, it was him.
Yes, it's him playing both roles, and they use, CGI tech to de-age his face. And I think the behind the scenes where they do like this, I've seen this a lot of like special effects. They put like these little dots all over Will Smith's face, and then with computer graphics, they they basically make a blueprint of his face with the dots, and then they de-age and take out some wrinkles, remove his facial hair, stuff like that, give him a different haircut, all that good stuff. And
Just like the Snapchat filter that I use for all my.
yes, it's a super advanced Snapchat filter. Now, but does it work? As we all know, going back to Marvel, bring up Marvel. Marvel is now become also famous for its de-aging. It did it with Michael Douglas in the first Ant-Man movie. It did it with Robert Downey Jr. in Captain America: Civil War. It up-aged Chris Evans in Captain America: Endgame, where they made him look like he was in his 90s or whatever. But does it work here? Sometimes. Sometimes it actually looks really good. It totally looks like a young Will Smith from back in the day. Just picture, Fresh Prince without the mustache. It works a lot. But when it doesn't work, it's kind of noticeable. Usually most of the time where it stuck out to me was around the mouth.
Okay.
And I've noticed that a lot with CGI, especially when you try to make a realistic character. It's usually the mouth where things go a little awry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just understand, so people don't misunderstand me, to clarify, I should say, I'm not saying it's horrible like Superman's lip was in Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you know about that, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
So, when they were filming Justice League, Zack Snyder, the director, had to step down due to family tragedy, though there's reports the studio kind of pushed him into stepping down. And director Joss Whedon stepped up to finish the film. And for that, they did a lot of reshoots. Now, the problem is, Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, he was already on to his next film, the at the time, latest Mission Impossible film. And for that movie, he grew a mustache. And they needed to come back to film reshoots. And they were like, Henry, we need you to shave off the mustache because Superman doesn't have a mustache.
He's like, I can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
It wasn't just him. The people in Mission Impossible wouldn't let him shave off the mustache. They're like, okay, we will CGI the mustache out.
Why would they just give him like a little wig
Fake,
for his?
little fake mustache?
Yeah.
The Mission Impossible people wouldn't allow it. They told the people working on the Justice League movies, no, we're not going to put a fake mustache and risk it looking fake. You guys got to work around it. So they did, and it looked horrible. It was so fucking bad. It was so horrible, Serenity. It was so fucking. You could tell every scene where the reshoot was. His lip just like.
Oh no.
It was like this weird. It made him look like he always had this dumb look on his face, like.
I have to see a picture
Oh
of
my
this.
goodness. I will play you a clip.
Okay, good.
I know it's weird. Now, the Gemini Man effect is not that bad. I'm trying to do a range here. It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
It like I said, it just kind of goes in and out sometimes. And there's some scenes where it's like.
Do you think maybe it'll go away if you watch it on a smaller screen? Because you saw it on the big screen.
I did see it on the big screen, perhaps, but it does look a little bit off. It doesn't look like weird flat jelly like the Superman thing did. But every once in a while, it's just like the lips are it's like the lips are like a half a second off with his words. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, this is like a little unnatural.
Yeah, and it can't get distracting. But some scenes, he looks great. It's fine.
I know. When I saw the trailer, I was like, who is that man playing? Is that Jaden?
Oh, yeah, right? I think where the scenes where it's most visible is where the scenes where young Junior, aka young Will Smith, he's well lit. When it's more lit up, it's a little more visible. Even sometimes around other areas of the face where it looks off. So when it's darker scenes like at nighttime, it looks a lot better. But if you can get a clear look at him, it's off a little bit. And it goes in and out of the film. Sometimes he's in a well lit and it doesn't look that bad. But now where things do get weird with special effects. Now, part of the plot of Gemini Man is, the two versions of Will Smith, Henry and Junior, do fight. That's what, Junior is sent to go kill Henry because Henry's so damn good, no one can take him down.
Yeah.
And they do have these fight scenes, and I don't know what was going on with the camera work on these fight scenes. Once again, Henry is the best, so he's super fast with his moves, and I think that's what they were going for. They were trying to make it look like they're fighting at such super athletics. I won't say super speed, but I'll say high athletic ability.
Yeah.
To the point where the fight scenes between them are kind of blurry and hard to keep track of what's going on.
That's disappointing to hear.
And special effects used, because I think there's some points in the movie where I think they CGI'd over them because they have this rubbery kind of movement to them. Especially like there's some scenes where it's like instead of like having a stuntman jump off a building with wires and stuff, you can totally tell they just did a CGI Will Smith jumping off a building, and it just stuck out to me. It's like they move a little rubbery, kind of like early, like in the Catwoman movie. There's scenes where like Halle Berry, she's like she's jumping off buildings. There's like an unnatural weight to it.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that. And I'm like, it's 2019.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened? Like, did you guys need a couple more hours to render that in the computer? What the fuck happened?
Right, and I mean, has anything, I can't think right now off the top of my head, has that ever been done before, where like, an actor had to fight himself, and they did it that way? Because I know there's been, stunt doubles, things like that.
Well,
I'm sure he had a stunt double.
oh, totally.
I
mean, Avengers Endgame, we saw Chris Evans' Captain America fight his past self because his past self thought he was Loki in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
That looked fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney money. They threw fucking Disney money at that one.
Right.
Not that Ang Lee couldn't get the money. I would hope, but it just is so noticeable. Even there's a movie that probably only me and a few other people remember. The Jet Li movie called The One, where Jet Li fights a version of himself from an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
And they have superhuman strength because they did this. The plot line was there's a multiverse, and if you kill a version of yourself from another universe, their like life energy spreads out to the other versions. And the plot of the movie was evil Ang Lee is going around to different universes and killing his counterpart in that universe because every time he kills himself, he gets stronger.
Yeah.
And to the point where there's only two of them left, and they're basically a couple of Ang Lee Captain Americas. They're like, and they're fighting each other like they're bending cars and shit. It was fucking weird. And yeah, so in that movie, I remember that movie. That movie looked fine. Like I remember, like it was fucking weird. But yeah, it's just so noticeable when there's CGI over and stuff because it just has that unnatural, rubbery look to it.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Catwoman, but still fucking noticeable. And that just hurt. Once again, and even in the fight scenes, because like they're doing this blurry vision thing, I guess to cover up the CGI, but then it's like so blurry. I'm like,
getting a headache.
I'm like, what? I can't enjoy this. It's gnarly. Another thing that's going on, like, I didn't want to shit on this one, I really don't, because it's like, I like Will Smith,
Oh, yeah,
I like
who
Mary
doesn't?
Elizabeth Winstead, but here's another thing that bothered me about this film. So the whole big draw of this movie is Will Smith fighting Will Smith. That's
Very cool.
right. Here's the problem. The plot gets started before they even introduce Junior. They did a whole thing of like Will Smith's government betraying him. But like Junior just shows up like not like halfway through the movie, but pretty late in the film. So his clone shows up at a point where like I felt like the plot had already got started and they'd already done a lot of things before the clone ever shows up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, for a while, like I feel like this movie could continue without the clone, but I know the clone's coming, and that was bothersome. I was like, can we get to the clone? Like it takes too long to get to the clone.
Yeah. You're here for the clones.
Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, where the fuck is this kid? Where is he?
Do you think it would have been easier to go back just a little bit, to make this Will look older than make this Will look younger? Do you think it would have been more natural?
Maybe, but I mean, I get what they were going for. Once again, it's supposed to be like his character was a clean slate, and the idea like he calls him an old man in the movie. Like his clone is like you're an old man, like you're old. I'll get you later. I'm gonna kill you later. You're an old man. Doesn't even call him by his name, even though he knows his name. Yeah, so I'm like, the plot's, I mean, once the clone does show up, it does start to pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just the movie felt like a movie was going on and on. They're like, oh wait, shit, the clone. We should introduce him already. It's like you should have introduced him like 10 minutes ago.
The reason you're here.
Yeah. It's just weird. What else to talk about? We got, like I said, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's playing Danny Zakareski. Her last name's hard for me to pronounce. Her name's Danny. Once again, I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I'm glad to see her in more like bigger name films. Not that she's never been in a big one, but it's like I think she deserves a little bit more. Then again, that could just be my Scott Pilgrim fandom talking. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah. She plays one of Will Smith's allies in the film. And without going into spoilers, she has to trust Will Smith know what's going on. But I don't think they established their relationship in a way where it makes sense for her to trust him. She she knows who he is, and they try to build up like this kind of relationship with him where they're kind of flirting in the beginning of the movie, kind of. But it's just like, I don't know, it's something about it felt unnatural, the way she just like trusted him, because for all she knows he's a bad guy because the government's trying to kill him, right? But it didn't click with me properly. But she's good in the film. Like, I want to say that all the actors, performance-wise, do fine. I don't think I'm going to do horribly. I'm trying to think, well, except for maybe one guy, but he's like a minor character, so I'm not going to get into it. Other parts of the dialogue, I feel like they spell things out a little too much for the audience, and that's why I think like maybe a different version of the script, the existential idea of meeting your clone, and what would you be like if you didn't, if there was another you but didn't lead the same hard, rough life you did, but has all your skills and talents, asking those questions. I feel like that's lost in the whole spelling everything out dialogue. Right? They just kind of, Will Smith really spells out everything about himself to Junior, and it's like, you're like this, and this, and that, and this, and that, and that, aren't you? And he's like, and Junior's like, fucking knows this shit about me, goddammit.
So Junior doesn't know he's a clone?
No.
Oh, sorry, alright,
Yeah.
For spoilers.
No, it's okay. I mean, I think they say that. They kind of made clear in the trailer that Junior doesn't understand things at first, but
I see.
it's just weird. I think things are just too spelled out. I feel like it's one of those movies where like the studio was like, the audience is going to get this. Like, change the script up. We're going to get a script doctor, change it up, and we're going to spell things out for the audience. And I think that robs it of actually getting people to think. Like, there's a little, like, you get the idea of Will Smith like that. You get it early on when his character is like, he's retiring. He wants out of this. He's done. He's killed too many people, and it's fucking with his head. And he's kind of like, I mean, they just kind of spell out that he's like has social issues or whatever. It bugged me. And
how many people would you have to kill for it to bother you?
Well, let's see. After the first 5,
with your claws.
Yeah. You know what? Let's get into some spoilers. Let's bring this up. So bring up the spoiler section. All right. Towards the top. All right, spoiler section. We're getting to spoilers now for Gemini Man. If you're listening so far, you'll understand that I'm not feeling too great about this film. Junior's a fucking idiot. Before he's sent to kill Will Smith, and it's confirmed later in the film that he was given a picture of Will Smith so he would know who to fucking shoot. And yet, he doesn't notice that the guy they sent for him to kill looks like an older version. He didn't
figure it out.
He doesn't. He needs Henry, aka old. I'm just gonna call fucking their names. Older Will Smith, young Will Smith, because it's just getting confusing at this point. Older Will Smith really has to point out to them, it's like, look at my face. We look exactly the same, and you have insomnia, right? And you have social issues, and you have you can't sleep at night, and you hate cilantro, right? And it's like all this other stuff, and it's like
he does kind of look low like RuPaul without his wig on. So I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. He's just like he's like everything that I get it. He's like, you're a clone, but it's like there's no like real differences. Once again, it's just he's a version of Will Smith, but without like he never went to war, so they've never seen friends die or anything.
Oh.
And Clive. Yeah. And I've noticed, but Clive Owen plays the villain of the film. He plays Clay Verris, the man. He used to be Will Smith's commanding officer back in when they were during the Gulf War, or like Kuwait, something like that. But back before Will Smith left his command, he got a blood sample of Will Smith and he made the clone because he basically wants to make a whole army of Will Smith so they don't have to send actual soldiers out into the field. The whole basically a living flesh and blood drone, if you will.
Yeah.
His villain is pretty generic in my opinion. He's like the whole the ends justify the means. I'm doing this for America. I'm doing this for the armies and the soldiers. I'm just blah 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 whatever. They're giving the BJ sign.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, it's like not to shake Clive Owen's a good actor, but it's just like I don't. The only thing that's kind of gives him layers that. For a while, he does he care about Junior? Because he raised Junior. He raised Junior as his own son, right? That way he can make sure he would grow up to be, the soldier that he knew to be. So does he care about Junior? At first, it does kind of seem like he does care about Junior, but as the movie goes on, you realize it's like he sees Junior as if a baby had a gun barrel pointing out of his forehead. Like he kind of sees like he's like a walking gun, basically.
Yeah.
To the point where we find out, and they mentioned this in the movie, and I wasn't too surprised when it came up, where it's like, it's not just they've perfected the cloning process and they're going to like start to like mass produce. To the point at the end of the movie where this super soldier shows up, and both Will Smiths have to fight him to take him down. And surprise, surprise, they take off his mask, and it's another Will Smith clone.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But this one's even stronger and faster, and he can jump around like Spider-Man and all this shit. And they have to like shoot him like 10 times with a shotgun before he finally goes down because he can't feel pain. And he doesn't have like any free will. When they ask him like, how are you not in pain? He just looks at him like.
So he wasn't a super soldier. He was on crack.
Yeah, basically.
He did some bath salts.
The combination of crack and bath salts. That's how our boys in the army are going to make that. But yeah, and once again, the fight was ruined because they're doing this super speed cam thing that makes things blurry. So I hate wait, did he punch him or clothesline him? I can't tell. Like, it's just,
or did he kiss him?
They kissed the little gentleman. We're brothers. Once again, in the plot, like seriously, I was looking at I remember at one point I was like, I'm pretty into the movie. Like I said, I looked at my phone, real quick. It was around 30 to 35 minutes in the film before we even meet Junior, the clone.
Wow.
It's like, and before that we see Will Smith on this last mission. We see him talk to old buddies because it turns out that the guy that he killed on his last mission wasn't a bad person. That they set him up to make him look like he was a bad guy. We see him quickly take down some commandos that are sent to kill him and take him out. We see him meet Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's actually like FBI or something, and she was sent to go keep an eye on Will Smith. But after he finds a tracking device in his boat, he automatically realizes that she's an agent, and he literally calls her out at the job because she's, I'm the new person at the dock. I give people the keys to their boats. It's like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And he sees right through her, and then she's like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Can I take you out on a date? And she accepts the date, and I'm like, bitch, this guy just fucking said you were not yourself, and she accepts the date, but like they're on the date for literally 2 seconds before he pulls out, like, oh, you had my old buddy look up your file. I know who you were the whole time. Like, it's just like.
Psycho.
And that's why I mean, their friendship, their trust between her character and Will Smith, they don't make sense. I'm just like, this. Why would you trust this guy? You were sent to keep tabs on him. Like she knows who he is. She's seen his file, and so she knows who she's watching. But it's like at the same time, it's like, how do you know this guy's not manipulating you? Like, and I mean, I don't know. They show that she's intelligent in the movie. Well, I don't know. This movie's just so disappointing. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Yeah.
So no in the movie?
No, I'm not going to recommend Gemini Man. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
You got Ang Lee, you got Will Smith. I didn't mention Benedict Wong, who most people know from the Marvel films as being Doctor Strange's right hand man. A lot of people love his character. He's great. He's in this movie. He's actually a good actor. He's also in The Martian. He's one of those actors I think he's wearing one of those actors where it's like you don't know his name but you know his face because he keeps popping up in movies.
Yeah.
You got that. So I mean, it's a really cool premise. You got good actors. You got a good director, and yet the movie just kind of falls flat. So yeah, I'm not gonna give. It's not a horrible film. Like it's not incompetently made.
How many stars are you giving it out of 5?
Oh, I usually don't do stars, but I'll give it.
Okay, how many?
I'm not recommending the film. It's not horrible, but I don't think it's worth paying a ticket price for. Unless it's like you got cheap movie day, maybe go see it. Most theaters have that day with the cheap ticket prices. Maybe on that day.
If you really, really, really love Will Smith and you want to see him 2 times in one movie,
yeah.
It's a twofer if you love Will Smith.
You'll get that, but right. Anyway, so I'm just gonna give a pass on Gemini Man, unfortunately.
See, I kind of had a feeling. That's why I passed on it tonight. I was watching the trailers, and then I watched this shit last night on The Daily Show. I was like, this movie's gonna stink.
Yeah, I love it when you watch interviews with actors and you can tell that they know the movie's bad because they're struggling to say positive stuff.
Oh, totally.
Because there was nothing positive. Like I remember the Fantastic Four movie, the last one they did, the one that like bombed hard. You watch interviews with the actors, and they're like, it's more real. The characters, it's darker. They're just struggling to say. And they have one movie that had good actors in it. Michael B. Jordan's in that fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is like before Creed, but he was already on the way up. It's like Michael B. Jordan's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he brought up I Am Legend in the interview last night, where he was like, I'm in movies where I like don't need other actors. Like I Am Legend, like it's just him and the dog, and this one is just me and myself. And then there was another one too that he did where it was I can't remember what it was, where it was just like him and I don't know, like a rock or something. I don't know. He had done it. He was like.
Was it The Rock? I would love to see Will Smith and Dwayne The Rock Johnson do a team up. That'd be fucking great.
Would you want it to be the comedy though, or action?
Action comedy. I'm gonna go both because
they're both really good.
Yeah, because we both know they can do even though
both.
Yeah, we both know they can do both. But yeah. Anyway, all right.
It's a bummer. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. Anywho. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this week of the POVincent podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you do like the show, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Got all those up there. And if you would like to help out the show and contribute to it, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/POVincent. I'm only asking for $1 a month. If you can do it, thank you very much. If you can't, I appreciate you just tuning in to listen or watch the show. Remember, you can listen to us on the River's Edge Online Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 a.m. You can check us out live streaming on Facebook and check it out on our YouTube page. We appreciate it. So, what?
Can I plug my show?
You can plug your show. Yes. Sarah's got she's pulling double duty.
Every Monday at noon on the Pittsburgh Current Podcast Network, I do a comedy podcast with Pittsburgh icon Jim Krenn. And we have a really, really big guest coming on next week, Doc Dovinoff from the HBO show Crashing. We're going to have him on the show, so I'm super excited to meet him. So tune in Monday at noon, every Monday at noon.
All right. Check it out, people. If you want to see more of Serenity, they're on POVincent, or you can see them on Jim Grant's No Restrictions podcast. Can't talk on email.
Maybe one day I'll get a podcast with my name in it.
You should. What would your podcast be called?
Serenity Says, which is also my Twitter handle.
Simple, direct.
Yeah.
Let you know who's talking.
Yeah.
I like it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much. You guys all take it easy out there. Have a good night.